Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's see the meaning of economic order quantity. The quantity of material to be ordered at one time is called economic order quantity. And the formula to calculate EOQ is EOQ is equal to root 2AO divided by C, where A stands for annual consumption, O ordering and receiving cost per unit, C. Cost of carrying and holding stock of material. Problem number 1. From the following data, calculate EOQ. Annual consumption of material is 6,250 units. And expenses of placing an order is rupees 0.50. Cost of storing inventory rupees 0.10 per unit. Let's solve the problem. First write the formula. EOQ is equal to root 2AO divided by C. First we'll write the values here where A is equal to, what do you mean by A? A stands for annual consumption. See in the problem, annual consumption of material is 6,250 units. So right here, A is equal to 6,250 units. Next is O. O stands for ordering and receiving cost per unit. So ordering cost is rupees 0.50. C stands for cost of carrying and holding stock of material. So the cost of storing inventory is 0.10. C is equal to 0.10. Now solve the problem. EOQ is equal to root that as it is 2 into A. A is 6,250. Right here 6,250 into O. O value is 0.50 divided by C. C value is 0.10. Calculate this. First multiply and divide it by 0.10. 2 into 6,250 into 0.50 divided by 0.10 and you will get 62,500. Calculate root of this amount and the final answer is 250. So the EOQ is 250 units. Problem number 2. Calculate EOQ from the following. Annual consumption 2,400 units. Cost per unit is rupees 80. Carrying cost is 20%. Ordering cost rupees 48 per order. Also find out number of orders per year. So in this problem, we have to calculate EOQ and we have to calculate number of orders per year. Let's start the solution. EOQ is equal to root 2AO divided by C. First, we'll write the values of this formula where A stands for annual consumption. So in this problem, annual consumption is 2,400 units. Right here, A is equal to annual consumption, that is 2,400 units. O stands for ordering and receiving cost per unit. So ordering cost is, see the fourth point, ordering cost is rupees 48 per order. O is equal to 48. C is cost of carrying and holding stock of material. Carrying cost is 20%. See the third point. Carrying cost is 20%. So this 20% will charge on cost per unit, that is 80. Okay, carrying cost is 20%. So this 20% will charge on cost per unit, that is 80. So 20% of 80 we have to take as cost of carry. See a calculation in bracket, right? Cost per unit is 80 into 20%. 20% is the carrying cost on cost per unit. 80 into 20%, you will get rupees 60. So the cost of carrying and holding stock of material amount is rupees 60. So C, A you have to take 2400 units, O 48, C rupees 60. Now we have got all the values. Start the solution. EOQ is equal to root, right, 2 as it is into A value is 2400. O value is 48 into 48 divided by C. C value is 16. Now multiply, divide it. 2 into 2400 into 48 divided by 16. The amount is 14,400. Root 14,400. Calculate root of this amount 14,400. The final answer is 120. EOQ is 120 units. Next we have to find out number of orders per year. So the formula to calculate number of orders per year is annual consumption divided by EOQ. Annual consumption is 2400 divided by EOQ. Just we have calculated, that is 120. 2400 divided by 120. So the answer is 20. 20 times. So the number of orders per year is 20 times. Solve problem on stock levels. Determine the reorder level, minimum stock level, maximum stock level, and average stock level from the following. First point, consumption. Normal consumption is 20 units per week, maximum 30 units per week, minimum consumption 15 units per week. Second, reorder quantity, that is ROQ, is 500 units. Third one, delivery period, minimum 5 weeks and maximum 50 weeks. So what we have to calculate? Reorder level, minimum stock level, maximum stock level, and average stock level. Let's start the solution. So first what we have to calculate? Reorder level. The formula is reorder level is equal to maximum consumption into maximum delivery period. Maximum consumption. See in the problem, maximum 30 units per week. So right here 30 units into maximum delivery period 15 weeks. Multiply this 30 into 15 and the answer is 450 units. So ROL is 450 units. Next, we have to calculate minimum stock level. So the formula to calculate minimum stock level is minimum stock level is equal to ROL minus average consumption into average delivery period. ROL, just now we have calculated how much we have got? 450 units. So under this ROL, write 450 minus, write in bracket, average consumption 20 units. Normal means average consumption into average delivery period. It is not mentioned in the problem. So how we will calculate? Take minimum delivery period plus maximum delivery period and divide it by 2. Minimum delivery period is 5 weeks plus 15. 15 is the maximum delivery period. 50 divided by 2. Understood how we have to calculate average delivery period? Minimum delivery period plus maximum delivery period divided by 2. Write as it is 450 minus, in bracket write 20 units into 10. 5 plus 15, 20. 20 divided by 2, 10. Write 450 as it is 20 into 100, 200 minus 200. And the final answer is 250 units. Minimum stock level is 250 units. Next, we have to calculate maximum stock level. The formula to calculate maximum stock level is ROL plus ROQ minus minimum consumption into minimum delivery period. ROL is 450 plus ROQ mentioned in the problem. See the second point, reorder quantity, that is ROQ, is 500 units. Right here plus 500 minus, right in bracket, minimum consumption 15 units into minimum delivery period 5 weeks. 450 plus 500 total is 950 minus 15 into 5, 75. From 950 minus 75. The final answer is 875 units. Maximum stock level is 875 units. Last, what we have to calculate? Average stock level. Formula is minimum stock level plus maximum stock level divided by 2. Minimum stock level is, see the solution, point number 2, minimum stock level is 250 units. Right here, 250 plus maximum stock level. See in point 3 in solution, maximum stock level is 875 units divided by 2. 250 plus 875 divided by 2. And the answer is 562.5 units. Problem number 2. The following information available from the books of Philips TV Company. Reordering quantity is 360 units. Maximum consumption 900 units per week. Normal consumption, that is average consumption, is 600 units per week. Minimum consumption 300 units per week. Emergency period is 2 weeks. We have to calculate number 1, reorder level, minimum stock level, maximum stock level, danger level, and average stock level. This is the 10 marks problem. Let's start the solution. Number 1, reorder level. Formula is maximum consumption into maximum delivery period. Maximum consumption is how much? See in the problem. Maximum consumption is 900 units. Take here 900 units into maximum delivery period. Maximum delivery period is 5 weeks. 900 into 5 weeks, and the answer is 4,500 units. Reorder level is 4,500 units. Next is minimum stock level. Formula is ROL minus average consumption into average delivery period. ROL, that is reorder level. ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. That is 4,500 minus average consumption. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. That is normal consumption. Normal consumption average consumption. ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 600 units per week. Average consumption is 600 units into average delivery period. Average delivery period, it's not mentioned in the problem. We have to calculate. How you will calculate average delivery period? Minimum delivery period plus maximum delivery period divided by 2. Minimum is 3 and maximum is 5. 3 plus 5 divided by 2. Write as it is 4,500 minus, write in bracket, 600 into 3 plus 5 divided by 2 ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? 4. 600 as it is into 4. Write as it is 4,500 minus 600 into 4. ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? 2,400. From 4,500 minus 2,400, and the answer is 2,100 units. Minimum stock level is 2,100 units. Next, we have to calculate maximum stock level. Formula is ROL plus ROQ minus minimum consumption into minimum delivery period. ROL, first point ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು calculate ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, that is 4,500 plus ROQ mentioned in the problem. First one, reordering quantity. That is ROQ is 360 units. Take here. Minus minimum consumption. Minimum consumption is 300 units into minimum delivery period. Minimum delivery period is 3 weeks. Now add this 4,500 plus 360. Total is 4,860 minus 300 into 3. That is 900. 4,860 minus 900. And the final answer is 3,960 units. Maximum stock level is 3,960. Next, what we have to calculate? Danger level. Formula to calculate danger level is minimum consumption into emergency delivery period. Minimum consumption is 300 units into emergency delivery period given in the problem. Emergency period is 2 weeks. Right here, 2 weeks, 300 into 2, 600. Danger level is 600 units. And the last is average stock level. Formula to calculate average stock level is minimum stock level plus maximum stock level divided by 2. Minimum stock level solution then second point ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು calculate ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. Minimum stock level ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 2,100 plus maximum stock level third one ಅಲ್ಲಿ calculate ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. That is 3,960 divided by 2. 2,100 plus 3,960 divided by 2. And the answer is 3,030 units. Average stock level is 3,030 units. We'll solve problem on store ledger account under simple average method. Let's start the problem. Prepare store ledger account under simple average method. 1st January 2017, opening 200 units at rupees 2 per unit. And they have given information related to issues and purchase which we have to record in store ledger account. Let's start the solution. Solution store ledger. Columns are date, receipts in that GR number, quantity, rate, amount, issues in that SR number, quantity, rate, amount. And the last one is balance, that is quantity, rate, amount. First entry is on 1st January 2017, that is opening balance of 200 units at rupees 2 per unit. This entry we have to record in balance column. Write the date 1st January 2017, receipts column nil, issues column nil, and balance column write quantity is 200 units, rate per unit is rupees 2, 200 into 2, total amount is 400. Next is 2nd January 2017, issued 150 units. 2nd January, how many units we have to issue? 150. Receipts column nil, issues column right. So in balance we have total 200, quantity, rate per unit is 2. So we have here single quantity, single stock. So directly we'll take quantity 150 units, rate per unit directly we'll take 2 because here only one stock is there. So directly we'll take quantity 150 and rate per unit is 2. 150 into 2, total amount is 300. So from this 200 we have issued 150 units. So remaining quantity is 50. Total ನಮ್ ಕಡೆ 200 units ಇತ್ತು. ಆ 200 units ಇಂದ 150 units ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. So total ಎಷ್ಟು units ಉಳಿತು? 50 units. Rate will be the same, rupees 2. 50 into 2, amount is 100 and closes. Next is on 5th January 2017, purchased 100 units at rupees 2.20. Purchased will write in receipts column. 5th January, number of units purchased is 100. Rate per unit is 2.20. 100 into 2.20, amount is 220. Issues column nil. Previous balance ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮೊದಲು ಬರಿಬೇಕು. That is 50 units. Rate per unit is 2 and total amount is 100. ಈಗ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು 100 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ at rupees 2.20. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. 100 units. Rate per unit is 2.20 and the total amount is 220 and close this. Next is on 7th January issued 100 units. Write in solution 7th January receipts column nil. Issues. So how many units we have to issue? 100 units. Before issuing the units, we have to see the balance. Balance column ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ರಿ. So balance ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ ಕಡೆ two different type ಇನ stocks ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. One is 50 units, rate per unit is 2. Next is 100 units, rate per unit is 2.20. Total 100 ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So first ಮೊದಲು 50 units ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 100 ಇದೆ. ಆ 100 ಇಂದ 50 units ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ರೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬರಿಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. So for rate what we have to do? Under the simple average method, there is a formula to calculate the issue rate. See a calculation of issue rate. Formula is total purchase price up to date of issue divided by number of times purchased up to date of issue. So ಏನನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು? Total purchases price up to date of issue. Purchase price ಅಂದ್ರೆ rate. ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೇಟ್ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ 7th January ರೇಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 2 ಪ್ಲಸ್ 2.20 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 2. ಎರಡು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ಡ್ 1 and 2. So 2 plus 2.20 divided by 2. So ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Answer is 2.10. So ಈ 2.10 ರೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Right here in store ledger account 7th January 50 units we have issued and remaining 50 from 100. So rate per unit how much you will take? Just now we have calculated, that is 2.10 for both the quantities. 50 into 2.10, 105. ಈ ತರ ರೇಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ರೇಟ್. So this 50 we have fully issued to the production and from this 100 we have issued 50 units. So remaining quantity is 50 units. Rate here write same 2.20 and the amount is 50 into 2.20, 110 and close this. Next is on 10th January 2017 purchased 150 units at rupees 2.40. Write the date 10th January. Purchases will take in receipts. Number of units purchased is 150. Rate per unit is 2.40. 150 into 2.40. Total amount is 360. Issues column nil. First write the previous balance, that is 50 units. Rate per unit is 2.20. and the total amount is 110. And now add the recent purchase, that is 150 units. Rate per unit is 2.40 and the total amount is 360. Next entry is on 12th January. See the problem. Issued 100 units. Write in solution 12th January. Receipts column nil. So total ಎಷ್ಟು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ರಿಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು 100. See the balance. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಟೂ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. 50 units and 150 units. ಮೊದಲು ಈ 50 units ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಮತ್ತು ರಿಮೈನಿಂಗ್ 50 ಅನ್ನ will take from this 150 units. So total we have issued 100 units. So there are two different price ಇದ್ದಾವೆ, that is 2.20 and 2.40. Issue rate ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. See here 12th January rate is, see the balance 50 units rate ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 2.20 plus 2.40 divided by 2. ಎರಡು ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ 1, 2. ಸೊ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ 2.30. Issue rate is 2.30. Write in issues column 50 quantity we have already written. Write here 2.30 and same for next 50 units, that is 2.20. 50 into 2.30 amount is 115. ಈ 50 units ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. From this 150 we have issued 50 units only. So the remaining quantity is 100. Rate per unit will be the same 2.40. 100 into 2.40 amount is 240 and close this. Next is on 20th January. Purchase 100 units at rupees 2.80. Purchases, write in receipts. Number of units purchased is 100. Rate per unit is 2.80. 100 into 2.80 amount 280. Issues column nil. Write the previous balance 100 units. Rate per unit is 2.40. Total amount is 240. Add the recent purchase, that is 100 units. Rate per unit is 2.80 and the amount is 280. Next is 28th January. Issued 200. Write in solution 28th January. Receipts column nil. So total ಎಷ್ಟು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು 200. Before that see the balance. Two types in stock ಇದ್ದಾವೆ 100 units at rupees 2.40. Next 100 units. Rate per unit is 2.80. So ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ 200 ಸಹ ಬರೀಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ 100 ಮೊದಲು ಬರೀರಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 100. ಸೊ ಎರಡೇ ಟೈಪ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಫುಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Next we have to calculate the weight. So write here 28th January. Rate ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 2.40 plus 2.80 divided by 2. Calculate this. 2.60. So this issue rate we have to take to issue 200 units. Write here rate 2.60. 2.60. 100 into 2.60 amount is 260 and 260. Balance nil. ಯಾಕೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ 200 ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು 200 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ nil. Next is on 31st January 2017 received back 15 units from job issued on 22nd 2017. So 2nd January ಗೆ see the 2nd January entry. 2nd ಜನವರಿಗೆ ನಾವು 150 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ at the rate of 2 per unit. ಸೊ ಈ 150 ಇಂದ 15 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಅವರು 31st ಜನವರಿಗೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವರು ಸ್ಟೋರಿಗೆ 15 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ವಿಚ್ ವೇರ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆನ್ 2nd January. Return to store, we have to take in receipts column and return to vendor, return to seller, we have to write in issues column. So 31st January received back 15 units from job which were issued on 2nd January. In solution write 31st January, write this entry in receipts column 15 units. So rate issue rate ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು 2 rupees. So rate per unit is 2. 15 into 2, 30 rupees. Issues column nil and this one write in the balance column quantity 15, rate per unit is 2 and the total amount is 30. Store ledger account as per weighted average method. Let's start. Prepare store ledger to record the following transactions as per weighted average method. 1st January 2017, opening stock 200 units at rupees 2. This entry we have to record in balance column. Here is the solution. Store ledger columns are date, receipts, GR number, quantity, rate, amount, issues, SR number, quantity, rate, amount. The last one is balance, quantity, rate, amount. First transaction is on 1st January 2017. That is opening stock of 200 units at rupees 2. Write in solution date 1st January. Receipts column nil. Issues column nil. And in balance write quantity 200 units. Rate per unit is rupees 2. 200 into 2, 400. And close this. Next entry is on 2nd January 2017, issued 150 units. 2nd January, receipts column, nil. Issues. Total how many units we have to issue? 150 units. See the previous balance. In balance, we have 200 units at rupees 2 per unit. In balance, they have single stock, so no need to calculate rate per unit. So directly we can issue 150 units and we can take this rate per unit, that is rupees 2. If you have more than one stock, then you have to calculate the rate per unit by taking this formula issue rate. So for now, we'll issue 150 units. In issues column write number of units issued 150 units. Rate per unit, we'll take this 2. 150 into 2, amount is 300. Write the balance. Total we had 200 units. Out of that, we have issued 150 units. So the remaining quantity is 50. Rate will be the same, rupees 2. 50 into 2, 100 rupees. And close this. Next entry is on 5th January. Purchased 100 units at rupees 2.2. Write this entry in receipts column 5th January. Number of units 100. Rate per unit is 2.20. 100 into 2.20, amount is 220. Issues column nil. First write the previous balance, that is 50. Rate per unit 2 and 100 amount. Now add the recent purchase, that is 100 units. Rate per unit is 2.20 and the total amount is 220 and close this. Next on 7th January, issued 100 units. 7th January, receipts column nil. So total how many units we have to issue? 100. Before issuing the quantity, see the balance. In balance, we have two different stocks, that is 50 units at rupees 2 per unit and 100 units at rupees 2.20 rupees. Total we have to issue 100. Directly will take 100 here. Here in balance we have two different stocks, two different price. So we have to calculate issue rate. Directly we can't take 2 or 2.20 rate. In weighted average method we have to calculate the issue rate by taking this formula. Let's calculate the issue rate. Formula is issue rate is equal to cost of materials purchased up to date of issue divided by quantity of stock up to the date of issue. So what we have to take? Cost of materials divided by quantity of stock. So we are calculating issue date for which entry? 7th January. Write here date 7th January. See the previous pen. Cost of material. For that you have to see the amount column. Balance amount column 100 and 220. 100 plus 220 divided by quantity of stock. In balance, see the quantity. We have two different quantity, that is 50 and 100 units. 100 plus 220, that is 320 divided by 50 plus 100, 150. Calculate this. Issue rate is 2.13. 2.13. So in store ledger account, right? 7th January 2017. So total how many units we have to issue? 100. Rate per unit how much will take? 2.13. Just we have calculated. 100 into 2.13 amount is 213. Now write the balance. See the previous balance total. We had 150 units. 50 plus 100, 150. Out of that, we have issued 100 units. So the remaining quantity is 50. Rate you have to take this one 2.13. 50 into 2.13 amount will be 107. Next transaction is on 10th January 2017. Purchases 150 units at rupees 2.40. Write in solution 10th January. Receipts column. Number of units. Quantity is 150. Rate per unit 2.40. 150 into 2.40. Answer is 360. Issues column. Nil. Write the previous balance. 50. Quantity and amount is 107. Now add the recent purchase, that is 150 units. Rate per unit is 2.40 and the amount is 360. Next is on 12th January. Issued 100 units. 12th January receipts column nil. 100 units we have to issue. Before that, see the balance. Total we have 200 units. Two different quantity. We have to calculate the issue rate. Write the date 12th January. First write the amount, that is 107 plus 360 divided by Write the quantity 50 and 150. 107 plus 360, total is 467 divided by 200. Calculate this. Rate is 2.335. 2.335. In store ledger account, write quantity in issues column quantity 100. Rate per unit will take this 2.335. 100 into 2.335 amount is 234. Write the balance. So total we had 200 units after out of that. So ನಮ್ಗೆ total 200 units ಇತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 100 units ಅನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. So the remaining quantity is 100. 100 into 2.335 amount is 233. Next on 20th January purchased 180 units at rupees 2.50. 20th January receipts column quantity 180 units, rate per unit is 2.50. 180 into 2.50 total amount is 450. Issues column nil. Previous balance 100 units at 233. Add the recent one, that is 180 units. Rate per unit is 2.50 and the total amount is 450. And the last entry is on 28th January. 28th January issued 200 units. 28th January receipts column nil. So total 200 units we have to issue. See the previous balance. Total we have 280 units. Out of that we have to issue 200 units. To issue the quantity we have to calculate the issue rate. Right here 28th January. Cost of material is, write this 233 plus 450 divided by quantity of stock, that is 100 plus 180. 233 plus 450, total is 683, and here 280. 683 divided by 280 amount is, issue rate is 2.43. 2.43. Write in issues column quantity 200 units, issue rate 2.43. 200 into 2.43 amount is 486. Out of 280 units, we have issued 200 units. So the remaining quantity is 80. 80 into 2.43, amount is 194. And close this. Unit 4. Accounting for labor cost or labor costing. In this unit, you will learn the concept labor cost and will solve problems on calculation of earnings of workers under different methods. Let's study the methods of wage payments. There are three different methods of wage payments. Number one, time wage system. Second, piece rate system. Third, other methods in that incentive plans, co-partnership, and profit sharing. So we'll study all these methods in this chapter and we'll solve problem on this method. Let's start with the time wage system or time rate system. It is the simplest and the oldest method of wage payment. Under this method, wages are paid on the basis of time spent by the worker in the factory, irrespective of number of units produced by them. Time-based system is the simplest and the oldest method of wage payment. Under this method, the workers or the employees are paid wages on the basis of time spent by them. Okay, how many hours they have worked in the factory. On the basis of that, they are paid remuneration and not on the number of units produced by them. Here is the formula to calculate the earnings of workers under time-based system. Earnings is equal to time taken into time rate per hour. Let's see one example. Calculate the earnings of worker under time wage system. Time wages per hour rupees 5. Okay. Per hour the remuneration is rupees 5. Time taken by the worker is 15 hours. Okay, the worker has worked for how many hours? 15 hours, and for 1 hour the wage rate is rupees 5. Let's calculate his earnings. Solution: earnings is equal to formula right here. This formula: time taken into time rate per hour. Time taken, how much time he has taken? 15 hours. So write here 15 hours into time rate per hour. Time rate per hour is rupees 5. 15 into 5, answer is 75. So total earnings of a worker under this method is rupees 75. So this is a small example on time wage system. Next we'll see the piece rate system. Under this system, wages are paid on the basis of output produced by the worker irrespective of time taken by him. So in piece rate system, the wages or the remuneration paid to the worker on the basis of output, on the basis of number of units produced by the workers and not on the time taken by the worker or the time spent by the worker. In time-based system, the importance is given to the time and not on the output. But in piece rate system, the importance is given to output, number of units produced, and not on the time spent by the worker. So here is the formula to calculate the earnings under piece rate system. Earnings is equal to number of units produced into rate per unit. Earnings is equal to number of units produced into rate per unit. Let's see an example. Calculate earnings of worker under piece rate system. Piece rate rupees 2 per unit. Actual output 25 units. Okay, the worker has produced how many units? 25 units, and the rate per unit is rupees 2. Let's calculate. Earnings is equal to number of units produced into rate per unit. Number of units produced, that is 25 units into rate per unit. Piece rate means rate per unit is rupees 2. 25 into 2, rupees 50. Okay, the total earnings of a worker under piece rate system is rupees 50. We will solve a 10 marks problem on time-based system and piece rate system. Let's start. Problem number 2. Calculate the earnings of Mr. Ashok under time rate system. B. Piece rate system from the following information. Normal wages per day of 8 hours, rupees 24. Actual hours worked by Mr. Ashok, 12 hours. Standard output per day of 8 hours, that is 20 units. Actual output turned out by Mr. Ashok, 32 units. Okay, the normal wages per day of 8 hours. For 8 hours, the time wage is rupees 24. And this employee, Mr. Ashok, has worked for how many hours? 12 hours. Actual hours worked by Mr. Ashok is 12 hours. Standard output per day of 8 hours. In 8 hours, the standard output is 20 units. Actual output. The actual output produced by or the turned out by Mr. Ashok is 32 units. Okay. Mr. Ashok has produced how many units? 32 units. So by taking all this information, we have to calculate the earnings of Mr. Ashok under time-based system and piece rate system. Let's start the solution. Solution. Calculation of earnings of Mr. Ashok. A. Under time rate system. First we'll calculate under time rate system. So the formula is earnings is equal to time taken into time rate per hour. Mr. Ashok has worked for how many hours? Actual hours worked by Mr. Ashok is 12 hours. Okay, time taken by Mr. Ashok 12 hours into time rate per hour. Per hour time rate is not mentioned in the problem. Normal day of 8 hours. For 8 hours, the wage rate is rupees 24. Okay, for 8 hours, the wage rate is 24. We have to calculate the per hour wage rate. See your calculation. Rate per hour is equal to rupees 24 divided by 8 hours. Okay, to calculate the rate per hour, what we have to do? Total wages amount divided by hours, that is 24 divided by 8 hours, and the answer is rupees 3 per hour. 8 hours wages is 24 rupees 24. For 1 hour ಎಷ್ಟಂತನ calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So the calculation is 1 divided by 8 into 24. So the answer is rupees 3 per hour. Right here, time rate per hour is rupees 3. 12 into 3 is rupees 36. So under time rate system, Mr. Ashok earning is rupees 36. Point B, under piece rate system. Piece rate system formula is earnings is equal to number of units produced into rate per unit. Number of units produced. So Mr. Ashok has produced how many units? The last point, actual output turned out by Mr. Ashok is 32 units. Right here 32 units into rate per unit. Rate per unit, this one we have to calculate. Okay. For 8 hours, the wage rate is rupees 24, and in that 8 hours, how many units can be produced? 20 units. The rate per unit is rupees 24 divided by 20 units. Rupees 1.2 per unit. Right here, rate per unit is 1.2. 32 into 1.2, answer is 38.40. So under piece rate system, earnings is rupees 38.40. Problem number 3. Calculate the earnings of Mr. Ravi from the following information under A. Time wage system, B. Piece wage system. Normal wages per day of 8 hours, rupees 24. Standard output per day, 24 units. Actually, he has worked 12 hours. He produced 40 units. Normal wages for 8 hours is rupees 24 and the standard output per day that is 24 units. Okay, in 8 hours, how many units they can produce? The standard output is 24 units. And this Mr. Ravi has worked for 12 hours and in that 12 hours he has produced 40 units. So the actual units produced by Mr. Ravi is 40 units. Let's calculate his earnings. Solution. Point A. Time wage system. Formula is earnings is equal to time taken into time rate per hour. Time taken. So this person has worked for how many hours? 12 hours. Okay. So right here 12 hours into time rate per hour. Time rate per hour we have to calculate. See the note. Time rate per hour, how you will calculate? In 8 hours, the wage rate is, in 8 hours, the normal wage is 24 rupees. Okay. 8 hours ಗೆ wages ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ 24 rupees. So 1 hour ಗೆ wage rate ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು calculate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. For that, what we have to do? Rate per hour is equal to 24 divided by 8. So total wages ಏನ್ amount ಇದೆ divided by 8 hours ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ರೇಟ್ ಪರ್ ಅವರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 24 divided by 8 rupees 3 per hour. Okay. For 8 hours, the wage rate is 24. So for 1 hour, how much? That we have to calculate. So 24 divided by 8, rupees 3 is the rate per hour. Right here, rupees 3. 12 into 3, 36. So under time wage system, the total earnings is rupees 36. B. Piece wage system. Formula is earnings is equal to number of units produced into rate per unit. Number of units produced. So Mr. Ravi has produced 40 units into rate per unit. Okay, here in note number 1, we have calculated rate per hour. Next, we have to calculate rate per unit. Okay, here we have calculated rate per hour and in B piece wage system we have to calculate rate per unit. So how you will calculate this rate per unit? Per day of 8 hours, the total wage rate is rupees 24 and in that 8 hours, how many units can be produced? The standard output is 24 units. Okay, in 8 hours, the wage rate is 24 and in that 8 hours, how many units can be produced? The standard output is 24 units. See the note. Rate per unit is equal to 24 divided by 24. Okay, total wages ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. Wage rate is 24 but standard output is 24. So 24 divided by 24 rupee 1 is the rate per unit. Right here rate per unit for 1. Rate per unit is 1. 40 into 1. 40 rupees. So under piece wage system, the earnings is rupees 40. So this is the 5 marks problem from previous year question paper. Let's study the Taylor's differential piece rate system. This scheme was introduced by F.W. Taylor, the founder of scientific management. Okay, who is the founder of scientific management? F.W. Taylor. Under this plan, two piece rates are set off for each job. That is, low piece rate and high piece rate. Let's understand the meaning of low piece rate and high piece rate. The low piece rate is applicable to workers whose output is below the standard. If the output of the workers is below the standard, they are called less efficient workers. So whatever the target or the standard set by the company to the workers, if the workers perform below the standard or below the target, then such types of workers are called less efficient workers, and to them we have to apply low piece rate. Next is high piece rate system. This high piece rate system is applicable to workers whose output is at or above the standard. If the output of the workers is at or above the standard, they are called more efficient workers. So whatever the standard set by the company or the organization, if the workers work up to that standard or above the standard, such type of workers are called efficient workers. And to such workers, according to Taylor's differential pay rate system, high pay rate system is applied. So the workers who perform below or less than the standard, they are called inefficient or less efficient workers, and to them low piece rate is applicable. And the workers whose performance or whose output is at or above the standard, they are called efficient workers, and to them we have to apply high piece rate. So under this Taylor differential piece rate system, to find out the earnings of the workers, the formula is earnings is equal to units produced into differential piece rate. So whatever the units or the output produced by them, that we have to take, and according to their performance. If they have performed well, that is according to the standard, then high piece we have to high piece rate we have to apply here. And if their output or if their performance is below the standard or below the target, to them we have to apply low piece rate. Got this? Let's solve the problem on Taylor's differential piece rate system. Problem number 1. Calculate the earnings under Taylor's differential piece rate from the given information. Rate per hour rupees 6. Standard time per unit 30 minutes. Differential piece rate to be applied 75% of piece rate below the standard, 125% of piece rate at or above the standard. In 8 hours of a day, the actual output of the workers are A. 15 units, B. 25 units. So in this problem, what information they have given? Rate per hour. So per hour, the rate is rupees 6. 1 hour ಗೆ rate is rupees 6. Standard time per unit. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ? 30 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಒನ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆರ್ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ is 30 minutes. And differential piece rate applied here, the workers who perform below the standard, to them 75% piece rate is applied, and the workers whose performance or whose output is at or above the standard, to them we have to apply 125% of piece rate. So total hours worked by the worker is 8 hours. Okay, in a day, 8 hours they have worked, and in this 8 hours, Mr. A has produced 15 units, Mr. B has produced 25 units. So we have to see which differential piece rate is applied to Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. A has produced 50 and Mr. B has produced 25 units. So before that, we have to find out the standard output. 1 per unit, to make 1 unit, 30 minutes is required. So during this 8 hours, how many units can be produced? So first we have to calculate standard output in 8 hours. And according to that standard, we have to see A has performed above the standard or below the standard, and B has performed below the standard or above the standard. Let's find out the earnings of Mr. A and Mr. B under Taylor's differential piece rate system. Solution: calculation of earnings under Taylor's differential piece rate system. Write the formula, that is earnings is equal to units produced into differential piece rate. First is Mr. A. So Mr. A has produced how many units? Clearly given in the problem, that is Mr. A 50 units. So write here 50 units. Differential piece rate, this one we have to find out. Next is Mr. B. Mr. B has produced 25 units. So write here 25 units into this things we have to differential piece rate we have to find out. Got? So certain notes we have to prepare to get all these things. That is differential piece rate, standard output, production in 8 hours, etc. So first we'll calculate, that is note number 1, ascertainment of standard production. Standard production we have to find out first. So the formula is standard production per hour is equal to number of minutes per hour divided by standard time per unit. Now this standard production per hour is equal to number of minutes per hour divided by standard time per unit. So 1 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಅದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. In 1 hour how many units can be produced? So in problem they have given standard time per unit 30 minutes. So in 30 minutes 1 unit can be produced. So in 1 hour 2 units. Clear? 30 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 unit ಅನ್ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So 1 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 30 minutes plus 30 minutes 60 minutes ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 60 minutes ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 hour. So in 1 hour how many units can be produced? 2 units. Okay. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಹಾಕಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. That is number of minutes per hour is 30 minutes, 60 minutes. In 1 hour, 60 minutes. The standard time per unit given in the problem. Standard time per unit is 30 minutes. So 60 divided by 30, you will get 2. That is 2 units. That is in 1 hour, you can produce 2 units. So 1 ತಾಸಲ್ಲಿ 2 units ಅನ್ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. So production in 8 hours ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? 1 ತಾಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ 2 units ಅನ್ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಂದ್ರೆ in total 8 hours. Okay, in 8 hours of a day. So these workers are working for how many hours? 8 hours. So in 8 hours, how many units they can produce? Per hour, 2 units into 8 hours. 8 is the 60 units. So in 8 hours, total how many units can be produced? 60 units. So the standard set by the company is in 8 hours 16 units. Got? This is the standard output. So in a day of 8 hours, total how many units can be produced? 60 units. So A has produced how many units? 15 units. Means below the standard he has produced. So the standard output is 16 units and A has produced in a day of 8 hours 15 units only. And B has produced 25 units more than the standard. The standard is 16 units in a day of 8 hours. But this person B has produced 25 units. That is more than the standard. Above the standard. Let's find out the piece rate per unit. Okay, standard output ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು calculate ಮಾಡಾಯಿತು. Next we have to find out piece rate per unit. So the formula is rate per hour divided by number of units per hour. Rate per hour is, first see in the problem, rate per hour is rupees 6. So for 1 hour, the rate is rupees 6. And this 1 hour, How many units can be produced? 2. Already we have discussed here. We have solved that is 2 units. So 6 divided by 2, you will get rupees 3 per unit. So the piece rate per unit is rupees 3. Andre 1 unit is the ಬೆಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು? Rupees 3. Now calculate the differential piece rate. Calculation of differential piece rate. Low piece rate and high piece rate. Low piece rate is 75%. So how much you have to take? 75% of piece rate below the standard. So those who have performed below the standard, we have to apply 75% of piece rate. Piece rate just we have calculated. That is rupees 3 per unit. 3 per unit is the piece rate. And those who have performed above the standard, to them we have to apply 125% of piece rate. So right here, low piece rate is equal to 75% of piece rate per unit. 75% of piece rate per unit is equal to piece rate is 3. 3 into 75%. This low piece rate. So ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ 3 into 75% ಅಂದ್ರೆ 75 divided by 100. So you will get 2.25. So those who have performed below the standard, to them you have to apply this rate. This 2.25 low piece rate. Next is high piece rate. High piece rate is 125% of piece rate per unit. Piece rate is rupees 3. High piece rate is 125%. Do the calculation. 3 into 125%. It is 125 divided by 100. You will get 3.75. So those who have performed at or above the standard, to them we have to apply 3.75 differential piece rate. So clear all these notes. Now come to the main part, that is calculation of earnings. This one. Calculation of earnings under Taylor's differential piece rate system. A. Number of units produced by A is 15 units. So this A person has produced below the standard or above the standard? Below the standard, because the standard output is 16 units. Correct? We have already calculated here. Production in 8 hours. That is 16 units. So this person A has produced below the standard. So below the standard, so the person who has performed below the standard, to them we have to apply 75% of piece rate. 75%, that is low piece rate is 2.25. And this Mr. B has produced 25 units, that is above the standard. So for Mr. A, we have to take low piece rate, that is 2.25 per unit. Multiply this 15 into 2.25. You will get 33.75. Mr. B has produced 25 units. So to him we have to apply high piece rate, that is 3.75 per unit. Do the calculation. 25 into 3.75, and the answer is 93.75. So the earnings of Mr. A is 33.75 and Mr. B earnings is 93.75. Like this, you have to find out the earnings of workers under Taylor's differential piece rate system. I hope you got the solution. If you have any doubts, please write in comment. And for more such videos, Please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Let's understand the Halsey plan and Rowan plan. Halsey plan. Under this plan, the worker is paid a guaranteed hourly rate plus a percentage of wages for time saved. The standard time required for the job is determined in advance on the basis of time and motion studies. The worker who completes the job less than standard time gets the wages for the time worked plus a bonus equal to 50% of time saved. Here is the formula to calculate earnings of a worker under Halsey plan. Formula is earnings is equal to time taken into time rate plus half of time saved into time rate. So this is the formula to calculate earnings under Halsey plan. Next one is Rowan plan. This is similar to Halsey plan. It guarantees a minimum remuneration on hourly basis and it also provides for the payment of bonus to those who show efficiency and economy in their work. Formula is earnings is equal to time taken into time rate plus time saved divided by standard time into time taken into time rate. So this is the formula to calculate earnings of the worker under Rowan plan. Next we'll solve a problem on Halsey plan and Rowan plan. Problem number 1. The following particulars relate to Mr. Anil, an employee of Sai Tool Limited. Standard time allowed 45 hours. Actual time taken 36 hours. Wage rate per day of 8 hours rupees 120. Find out Anil's total earnings and effective wage rate per hour under Rowan plan and Halsey plan. So in this problem we have to calculate earnings of Mr. Anil under Rowan plan and Halsey plan. We'll see what information they have given in this problem. Standard time allowed is 45 hours. Okay, to complete that work or to complete that output total, the standard time allowed by the organization to Mr. Anil is 45 hours. But Mr. Anil has taken only 36 hours. Okay, actual time taken by Mr. Anil is 36 hours. Wage rate per day of 8 hours is rupees 120. Okay. The wage rate fixed for 8 hours is rupees 120. So 8 hours ಗೆ wage rate ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ 120 rupees. So by taking all this information, we have to find out earnings of Mr. Anil under Rowan and Halsey plan. Let's start the solution. Solution. Calculation of earnings of Mr. Anil. A under Rowan plan. So first we'll calculate earnings of Mr. Anil under Rowan plan. So to calculate earnings under Rowan plan, formula is just we have studied, that is earnings is equal to time taken into time rate plus time saved divided by standard time into time taken into time rate. So time taken. So actually Mr. Anil has taken how many hours? See here, actual time taken 36 hours. So the actual time taken by Mr. Anil is 36 hours. So time taken, right? 36. Next is time rate. Time rate per hour. It is not given in the problem. Okay, wage rate 8 hours. For 8 hours, the wage rate is rupees 120. So we have to find out wage rate for 1 hour. Okay, 8 ಅವರ್ಸಿಗೆ ವೇಜ್ ರೇಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗತ್ತೆ ₹120. ಸೊ 1 ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಅ ನೋಟ್. See a note. Calculation of rate per hour. So for 8 hours, the wage rate is ₹120 given in the problem. Okay. Wage rate per day of 8 hours is ₹120. So for 1 hour, how much that we have to find out. 8 hours ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ wage rate ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ₹120. So 1 hour ಗೆ wage rate ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ we have to find out. So 1 divided by 8 into 120. Okay, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು 1 divided by 8 into 120. So ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ₹15. For 8 hours, wage rate is 120. For 1 hour, wage rate is ₹15. That is the time rate. Time rate per hour or wage rate per hour. So time taken, we have already written, that is 36. Time rate 15. Just we have calculated. Next, time saved. So time saved ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಹೇಗೆ calculate ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? The formula is time saved is equal to standard time minus time taken. Standard time ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ 45 hours. And the time taken by Mr. Anil is 36 hours. So from 45 hours minus 36. So time saved is 9 hours. Okay. So time saved 9 hours divided by standard time. Standard time is 45 hours into time taken. Time taken by Mr. Anil is 36 hours and time rate we have calculated, that is 15. Okay, clear? Time taken is 36. Time rate is 15. Time saved is 9 divided by standard time is 45 into time taken is 36 and time rate is 15. Okay, first multiply this. 36 into 15, answer is 540 plus 9 divided by 45, that is 0.2 into 36 into 15. And the answer is 108. First to do this part, that is 36 into 15, answer is 540 plus, next do this calculation, 9 divided by 45 will answer 0.2 into 36 into 15. Answer is 108. Add it. 540 plus 108. Answer is 648. So the earnings of Mr. Anil under Rowan plan is 648. Next we'll find out effective wage rate per hour. Formula is earnings divided by time taken. Earnings we have calculated just now, that is 648 divided by time taken. Time taken by Mr. Anil is 36 hours. 648 divided by 36. Answer is ₹18. Effective wage rate per hour is ₹18. Got this calculation? If you have any doubts, please write in comment. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and share with your friends. Next, we'll calculate earnings of Mr. Anil under Halsey plan. B under Halsey plan. So to find out earnings under Halsey plan, formula is earnings is equal to time taken into time rate plus half, that is 1 divided by 2 in bracket, time saved into time rate and close the bracket. Time taken by Mr. Anil is 36 hours. Okay. Time rate we have calculated, that is rupees 15 plus write as it is half 1 divided by 2. In bracket write time saved. We have time saved is 9. 45 minus 36, time saved is 9 into time rate is 15. Okay, first multiply this. 36 into 15, answer is 540. 36 into 15, answer is 540. 9 into 15, you will get 135 into 1 divided by 2. Answer is 67.5. Add it, 540 plus 67.5. Answer is 607.5. So under Halsey plan, earnings of Mr. Anil is 607.5. Next, effective wage rate per hour. Earnings divided by time taken. Earnings is 607.5. Time taken is 36. So the answer is 16.87. Effective wage rate per hour is 16.87. Got the calculation? Thank you everyone.